Coming to you from Final Third Cigar and Whiskey Lounge in Ingalls, Indiana, Indiana's exclusive Aladino Cigar Lounge. It's the Final Third Podcast.
Welcome back to the Final Third Podcast. I'm Rob.
And I'm Isaiah.
And today we are going to be starting our new pairing for November. So this is going to be a pairing for the entire month of November. We are pairing the new Pie Synestesia Red. This is the second in the line of the Pie Synestesia, and it's delicious.
It is delicious. I actually just smoked one for the first time last night here, and just absolutely wonderful.
Yeah,
but today,
absolutely.
our official pairing is going to be the newly relabeled Chattanooga whiskey 111. So this is a Tennessee high malt whiskey, just absolutely beautiful.
It really is. You can't go wrong with it.
You really can't. I mean, it's
become a shelf staple here. We've got a lot of people. Well, and that's the thing. We've got a few friends of ours. You know, Scott J for one of them. He's a huge fan of Chattanooga. Actually, he might have been the one that introduced me to it. I don't know about you.
Actually, Chattanooga 91 was one of it was the first bottle I bought on my 21st birthday.
Okay.
Of course, at that time, I was living in Nashville, and they already had their product in the Nashville market.
Nice.
And cannot recommend the lower proof offering enough. The Chat 111 now is more my jam, but for like people that are into things like Basil Hayden or Woodford, it drinks super smooth and sweet because it is high malt. There's not that rye content there, so just fantastic. But
yeah, and that might be one of the reasons Lisa likes it so much too, because she likes those higher malts or single malts a lot more than a traditional blend. So, and also I didn't say this before, but this is another one of those cigars that came out this year in Sumatra.
Yeah.
And I was so disappointed with all the Sumatras, but there have been a couple of bangers this year.
There have.
You know, this one and the Aladino Sumatra have been two that we're selling like crazy already. And I feel like Sumatra is actually, this year's Sumatra has changed my mind on a lot of the Sumatras.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to get into this bad boy.
Me too. I'm going to do the Calibri V cut. Not sponsored, but we're more than willing to take a sponsorship if you're listening. We do love Calibri's products across the board.
Yeah, absolutely.
You went with the straight cut.
I've actually been playing straight a little bit more, you know. I'm not quite, spreading out the V as much as I was before. Yeah, I don't know. I've just I go through phases where sometimes I want V, sometimes straight, but lately it's been mostly straight.
Yeah. So let's get into the cold draw on this old. There is a really nice raisin quality. A lot of times I say fig, but it's like sweeter, brighter. Reminds me more of like a golden raisin.
Yeah, and it's got that aroma as well of the barnyard aroma, not just straight up like manure, but more of just like the entire farm.
Yeah, totally.
And I get a lot of that hay in the draw too, which, on the cold draw, this one, I would almost say, oh, this is going to be a nice mild cigar.
Yeah,
because it's got a lot of those brighter things going on, but we know it's not super mild.
We do indeed know that, which is something I'm happy about.
Yes.
So, Rob and I are both using the Julius from Calibri to light.
Yeah, and I got to get more on order. We've sold all of them out already.
Well, I never thought I would be a soft flame guy, but I have really enjoyed this. And this is, so on the light, I think it's great. It takes quite a bit longer to light than a torch. But really where I think it shines is the touch-ups. Like you let your cigar go out. It's a little bit concave in the middle just because of the way it burned. This is great for touching it up.
And I like it too because, you can occasionally get a regular torch. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with either one of them. And they both work great. You're using the same butane. But sometimes if you're not paying attention, you have a conversation, you're just torching, and all of a sudden you look down, it's like, oh crap, that thing is
Yeah.
really, really torched hard. You can eliminate that by just kind of blowing out and getting rid of that char, but that's just one more step. And this one also being a little softer, it doesn't take the, when you relight or when you light at the beginning, it doesn't start to burn fast. It's just like more of a slow, steady, draw
Yeah.
right away.
So on the palate for me right now, it is almost like an unsweetened gingerbread, a little bit of pepper towards the back of the palate, and then on the retrohale, it's still kind of almost gingerbready toast to me. Like it has some of that like nutmeg, that ginger quality, really heavy in the baking spices.
It's got a lot of the baking spices. I will say in the retrohale, just in the sinus cavity, I get a lot of that black pepper, black and red pepper.
Yeah.
Not to the point of eye watering, but enough to where it's making my sinuses a little spicy. So
Absolutely. So let's check out I said newly relabeled, the Chattanooga 111. Do you remember what color the label used to be on it?
I thought it was just black and gray.
I think you're right. Yeah. Because I know the bottled in bond is blue, but this is now yellowy orangey. It's a great look.
It does look nice. It reminds, because I think when the first Cabernet finish one was, I think it had that similar shape to it.
Yeah.
That one is the same kind of a design as the Cabernet. That's when I first got the box, and I'm like, oh crap, they sent me the wrong thing. And I'm like, oh no, it's the same thing.
It on the nose, it might be the power of suggestion for me, just based on the label color. There's a lot of honey notes coming off of it for me.
Definitely sweet.
Honey, like definitely those cereal malts in
Not
there.
heavy on the fruit at all yet.
More floral leaning.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Dude, I forgot how good that was.
That's heavy leaning on the honey.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Oh,
it has
I
some of
did
those
too.
like more stone fruit notes in it.
It does. Not a super bright fruit, just that, you're right, that stone kind of fruit, a little more subtle.
And just a little bit of spice towards the back of the palate.
And it just keeps
it's
on
proofy.
building.
And the mouthfeel on this is spectacular.
It really is. Very viscous.
I'm just going to say this once and say this now. Come into the shop, try Chattanooga Whiskey 111.
Yes.
And if you're not near around here and it's available on the shelf, just buy it. This is a shelfer type bottle that is just one of those ones that can live on your shelf. When it runs out, you can get another one.
Yeah,
And
this is their main staple. I mean, other than maybe like the 91, they
this-
probably sell more of this than anything else, I bet.
This drink's better than a lot of the allocated releases I've had this year.
Yeah. and you're probably talking, this bottle should be somewhere in the 45 to 50 range at the most.
Yeah.
It might be a little higher in
I've
some
seen it as
stores.
high as 55.
So
and
again-
I would still pay that.
Again, think about 55. 55 is what Woodford Double Oak should go for.
Yeah.
This, and nothing wrong with Woodford Double Oak. It's delicious. This
You
is
can't
special.
I really can't think of that many bottles over 100 proof at that price point right now.
Honestly, right now, the only one I'm thinking of is maybe the Old Forester 1920. Those two are in
Yeah.
the same price range,
Yeah, they
and
are.
both of them are uniquely different, but perfectly delicious. So, wow, that was kind of poetic.
Yeah.
Uniquely different, but
Unique.
something delicious. I don't remember what I said now.
Differently different.
Yeah, whatever it is. Yes. Oh, man.
Oh my goodness.
We're going to get into this a little bit later, but we did get in Garrison Brothers. This is the Balmoria. But I've been reading up online about this, and this one has won a ton of awards being double oaked, and I'm really excited to try it. I recently fell in love with Garrison Brothers down in Texas and Florida, and not cheap stuff, but so far the first two bottles I've had of it have been absolutely freaking delicious.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we may be getting more of those. They're going to be a little higher dollar pour, especially on the
But
bourbon
those bottles
side.
are like over $100,
Oh,
closer to
they're-
the 150 mark.
Yeah,
aren't
most
they?
of them are
Yeah.
over 150. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's worth it.
It is really good. previously I had heard a lot of things that were kind of up in the air about Garrison Brothers, just based on their price point.
Yeah.
But I think it was from people that didn't appreciate Texas whiskey.
Right.
It is distinctly Texas whiskey. There's no doubt about it.
It is.
But it's probably the best expression of Texas whiskey that I've had.
Well, and that's the thing, now that I've been getting into more and being down there in Texas and trying them, dude, Texas is making some killer whiskey.
Yeah.
I mean, Still Austin and Balcones and Iron Root and these guys. I'm like, man, there's some great ones. And there was even a couple of smaller ones down there at Crowler Barrel that it's kind of like, a lot of the ones that have been coming up in Indiana. They're young, but they're going to be good. And that's kind of what I was noticing on several of those as well.
Well, and the thing that Texas has going for it is the climate.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's both going for it and one of the things that will stifle Texas.
Well, and that's why wasn't it Balcones that created the climate control rick house so they can actually adjust it up and down.
There's a lot that have climate controlled rick houses, even in Kentucky.
Really? Okay.
Buffalo Trace has a warehouse that's completely climate controlled that they will put their products that are going to age longer in. So they will pull them from the regular rick houses when they taste good, and then they will let them sit in the climate controlled warehouse until they meet that age requirement for whatever special release it is.
Okay.
Old Forester does temperature controlled, but they do rapid aging through it. So they will heat and cool like crazy for those.
Well, and doesn't
like a lot of the
do that? Didn't you say Makers did that for like the cellar age?
Makers, yes. I'm not sure it was totally temperature controlled. I think it was just underground.
Okay.
So it would be the equivalent of thing. Like Jason Fruits having a pole barn out back, aging barrels in there, and then pulling them in at the 6-year mark.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just to go back on this too, this is our pairing that's going to be for the entire month of November.
Yeah.
You are looking at was that $25 before tax, 25 plus some tax, $26.63 with tax.
Yeah, so this is like an around $17 cigar here.
Yeah, $17.39, $10 pour.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a good pairing that's not going to break the bank. Well, I mean, honestly, if we were doing this one, you'd be looking at another $20 on top of it, just because that's a high dollar pour.
Yeah.
So, we're trying to we would love to keep a lot of our pairings in that $20 to $30 range at the most, because we want to offer some of the best stuff. But occasionally we will offer a budget pour and a budget pairing.
Yeah.
I would tell you right now, doing either the Glitch or the McAuliffe Black with a pour of JTS Brown
be fantastic.
I mean, you're talking what, $12?
Yeah.
$13, something like that. No.
That McAuliffe Black
$13.
Shocks me
dude.
How good it is for the price. And it's just good. It is just good.
Well, and that's the thing. It's an $8 cigar.
Like,
but
I say good for the price, and it's like...
it's just good.
It's just good. If that were a $12 cigar, it would still be a great cigar.
It is.
But it's $8, and that means you can smoke it every day.
Yeah.
So going sip to smoke, it just sweetened that, like, what I'm perceiving to be gingerbread in the smoke. And then going back and nosing the Chattanooga 111, all I get is like some really strong clover honey. It's like you just opened a jar like fresh from whatever local beekeeper you got.
Going from smoke back to the sip, I'm getting a heavy honey, but almost like dusting the top of the honey with a little bit of cayenne pepper just to give a little spice. And I love doing that.
It's hot honey.
It's a hot honey.
Yeah.
It's really tasty.
Oh, that's
and I'm
really
not
cool.
getting as much of the pepper on the retrohale now on the cigar.
No, I'm
now
not
that
either.
We're slightly into it.
Yeah. So we kind of talked about it a little bit, just mentioned the state of allocations, and that's been something that we've talked about quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I found this article this week. It came out from thebourbonculture.com.
Okay.
And this is basically, it's more of an opinion piece than anything. But I think, oh man, I didn't even check to see who the author was. But the guy who wrote it, he has some really good research and really has done his homework here. And this is addressing a Midwinter Nights Dram Act 11. So
Okay, so let me, before you get into that, the one that you and I tried against our Starlight was the 10.
9.
9, okay.
9, yeah.
And if you remember that, we picked our Starlight pick over that, and everyone went nuts. Everyone's
Yeah.
like, you can't be right. No, that's not true. I'm like,
Yeah.
it really was.
Yeah.
So I'm anxious to hear about this one.
So the article from Bourbon Culture is called "Why You Shouldn't Pay Secondary Price for High West Midwinter Nights Dram Act 11." So it starts off with some history of a Midwinter Nights Dram. Really, where it got its notoriety and fame was when they had this like 15 to 17-year-old Barton Rye.
Okay.
So that's what they had sourced, and that's what they are originally putting in those barrels. Now, this article assumes that they are somewhere in that 4 to 7 year mark now with High West distillate.
Okay.
The other thing that he talks about is them making it a lot sweeter than years past. So he insinuates that they are pouring more or having a lot wetter barrels than they once did, which honestly,
That's fine.
valid.
Yeah.
Like I could see how he makes that assumption. But what I wanted to really focus on is the number of bottles produced. Because that's the huge thing that I found in this article that was just like, oh my gosh.
This article goes into detail about other bottles and how many bottles are made of different products. So you can get a good representation, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So in 2022, there were 115,000 bottles of Midwinter Nights Dram produced.
So last year's product. Okay.
Last year. They had a 64% increase this year in production.
Okay.
And they have produced 189,000.
Damn. Okay.
Okay. So putting that
What
into
you're telling me
perspective.
is we should all see them at all the Myers and everywhere now, right?
Yes.
I may not be off of that. Yeah, I know.
I mean,
I was joking, but
legitimately,
you're right.
the elite beverages, the little tiny one in McCordsville, had a case in there.
Already.
Yeah.
Okay.
So putting this 189,000 bottles in perspective, there are 14,000 bottles, only 14,000 produced of the 2023 Old Forester birthday bourbon. That's allocated.
Yeah.
There are 84,000 bottles produced of all 6 labels of the Van Winkle products.
How many?
84,000
Of each. Okay.
No. That's everything together.
All the
All of them. So you're talking 23. You're
Old
talking
Rip,
15.
everything.
You're talking Lot B. Yeah, Old
Okay.
Rip.
Okay. That explains a little bit more about why it's so hard to get.
Okay.
With that many different bottles, you're talking maybe 6,000 of one of those.
But putting this into perspective, Penelope Bourbon in 2022 produced a total across their entire line, like their bottle count was around 600,000.
Okay.
So you're talking High West produced Midwinter Nights Dram this year to the point where it basically could be a third of Penelope's category.
But okay, let me throw this on the other side of it.
Okay.
Penelope's only released in like 8 states now, right? 10 states maybe. So that could be part. I mean, you're a lot more product, obviously,
Yeah. But
instead of going nationwide and actually beyond.
what
That's just the devil's advocate in me trying.
No,
to
I
see if there
understand
may be
this.
a balance of this.
like George T. Stagg in 2018, which that was the last year Buffalo Trace provided numbers for how many bottles. There were 45,000. So I mean, you're talking,
Wow.
and that's high for like a allocated release.
Yeah.
Is 45,000. So what this article tries to make the case for is that Mid Winter Nights Dram is no longer allocated just based off of how many bottles they produced. Oh, it also says that Mid Winter Nights Dram went up $50 this year.
Damn.
Yeah. So you're talking anywhere from that like 160 to 175 range for these bottles that are no longer relatively considered allocated, and they very well could be everywhere.
Yeah.
And actually they are.
Excuse me.
Basically what they are claiming here is that there's no longer any reason to buy secondary for these.
Yeah,
Especially immediately, because at the distillery, they did not enforce any limits. So people were able to buy cases upon cases upon cases at the High West Distillery.
Yeah.
And people will be flipping them like crazy until people realize that everybody has them.
I can have them, yeah.
It's kind of like Starlight Cigar Batch. It started allocated just based on demand and not being able to keep up with it.
Yeah.
And then they ramped up production, and now it sits on shelves.
Yeah, it's sitting in mire and not being touched.
That's what's happening with High West, a Midwinter Nights Dram.
Wow. Okay. See, and that's my issue with, after you and I tried 9 on the show, that would be my issue with just going out and buying that bottle, because I would not spend $170 on the 9, or even $120 on that 9.
I wouldn't either.
And
I did.
So this one
I did buy it for MSRP, and I would just say that, and I wish I didn't.
Yeah. But, again,
if that was an everyday shelf item around the $70 mark, I would say, yeah, there's a time and place for that.
And for a perfect example, that Garrison Brothers I got, which was a store pick, a distiller's reserve pick, that was $170. And I am not disappointed at all in that bottle. So I don't have a problem spending money on a bottle that's delicious.
Yeah.
But again, after having that experience with that one, I'd be afraid to actually buy that unless I already had a pour of it. That might be a good bottle to go in with a couple of buddies and split it and just drink it together. But
and it's kind of the story of Willett, where Willett originally was sourcing this super high quality, high aged Heaven Hill product. And that's where the purple labels got famous.
right.
And they were charging $10 a year. You'd get 16-year-old Heaven Hill single barrel in a Willett bottle with a purple top on it, and you'd be paying $160, $170 for it.
Right.
Now they're putting out Willett's own product, like an 8-year purple top.
Yeah.
And I saw one at Big Red for $279.
Yeah.
But
it's nowhere near as good.
It's because of that purple top.
Well, I shouldn't say that. To me, I know people love purple tops. I'm not crapping on purple tops. They're fine. But that one that we had, the Weeder, it was good. I don't like spending that much money on it.
And it's just not, it's not what they made the name on.
Right.
It feels like a bait and switch, like with Midwinter Nights Drams. Like the first, I think it was up until Act 7 that they were still using that high-aged Barton Rye in there.
Yeah.
And you were talking 15 to 17-year-old Barton Rye. I think it was in Act 7 that they blended that Barton Rye with their own product, and people were like, ooh, maybe it's going downhill. And now here we are at Act 11, and you're having 4 to 7-year-old High West Rye in there, and it's just not the same thing.
Wow.
And it's more expensive than it once was, and there's more made than ever.
Yeah.
And it's just...
Well, and that's like, I was talking with Scott DeShong.
that's why Rendezvous Rye used to be really good, was because of that high-aged Barton Rye.
That makes sense. And his wife was actually at a Meyer, I think it was, or somewhere, and she took a picture of the shelf to show him what was on there, and it looked like the Rendezvous Rye with the old label was on the shelf, and he's like, buy it. That was delicious, because he had bought one he wanted to share with me, because he loved the Rendezvous Rye. He tried. He's like, man, that was so disappointing how it changed. And back to that whole Willet, still putting Willet on the bottle and stuff. That was one of the things I really thought I appreciated a lot about New Riff. They come out and they're using all their source product, and it was OKI. And then when they had their own distillate, it became New Riff. And it was very transparent. This is what we're doing now. This is what we did before.
Well, and that's something I have to commend West Fork for.
West Fork's doing the same thing, exactly.
Where they basically have two operating distillery names or brand lines coming out of the same distillery.
Yeah.
All of the MGP and all of the source things are under the
Old Hammer and Hugh Hammer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Old Hammer, Hugh Hammer, and then all of their stuff is just West Fork.
Yeah.
You know what? There's nothing deceptive about that.
No.
And it's just puzzling to me. But I think there's going to be a lot of distilleries that are in this kind of limbo. I think of like the Lex Row Distillery. Forever they were pushing Heaven Hill products.
Yeah.
Like people loved a lot of the cash strength Yellowstone stuff like that because it's Heaven Hill. You're talking like 6-year Heaven Hill.
Well, and I feel like West Fork is kind of in the same boat with New Riff, and I know there's a lot of really big New Riff fans. I know the bothers love New Riff a lot as well, but I feel like West Fork's on the early end of that too, where the Hugh Hammer and Old Hammer kind of had a following, and they had some really good bourbon.
Yeah.
And their new stuff's not quite there. It's young. I kind of felt like New Riff on their first offerings were a little young and not quite ready, and the OKIs had such a following on them because they were delicious. So it may be the same boat. West Fork hopefully they'll continue to age and get, their stuff gets better like New Riff. New Riff has got some great stuff now.
And you'll know the OKI name now because it is a product that's no longer, like the brand is no longer owned by New Riff. They're owned by another company, and that other company is doing great things with them. It is not the bottles of old. It's not the 17-year MGP bourbon in a bottle. It's not that, but they're doing wonderful blending and things like that. Yeah. But it's just kind of, it's one of those things is how quick can you grow and how much do you want to feed into the hype machine? You know what? Starlight could do it with their cigar batch. Starlight could do it with their honeys because that product got big on a 4-year-old bourbon sat in an Amberana barrel. And you know what? Those Amberana barrels, they can get I think they're up to maybe 10 runs on one barrel. They can do it again. And they bought so many Amberana barrels that they can continue to do that. That product became popular when it was young.
Yeah.
You were talking 4-year product in that barrel. And you don't even have to age it, but for 3 months in there, it is they can do it over and over and over again.
Yeah, some of those pungent woods, man, have a lot more life in them than just a standard oak barrel because, the wood is very, very porous and has a lot more flavor or just aroma in it or whatever you want to call it. That one, some of the ones I've seen that have had that longer use are a little bit more tamed down on all the sharp notes. And honestly, they're probably going to get better the longer they wait.
Yeah.
15, 20 times in the barrel, you never know. You might finally have something I like.
Absolutely. And we're gonna beat a dead horse here.
But a question for you too, because I saw a post someone had posted out in the Whiskey Tribe channel. Shout out to those boys.
Shout out.
They posted a bottle. It was just a green label of the William Heaven Hill 17. So it's a 17-year-old Heaven Hill that has the old. I think William Heaven Hill.
Yeah.
Their original owner of the distillery before they bought it, and I really want to find a bottle of that.
So those are distillery only releases.
Can you get it at Heaven Hill anytime, or is it just randomly?
No, it's random drop days, and you gotta pray to the gods of whiskey that you're.
Because I have never seen that bottle.
You know what? I actually
anywhere.
do think that some go out to retailers Oh, but your best chance is like knowing around the right season where it comes out and just going to the Heaven Hill Distillery
Okay.
every day to see what they're.
Have you ever had any of those?
No.
Okay.
Those are harder to get than the Heritage Collection.
Okay.
Those are harder to get than the Parker's stuff. Like,
So that's kind of like not just a heritage, it's more like a family reserve kind of thing for them.
yeah, I mean that's like,
That makes sense.
I mean it's more widely available than Double Eagle, very rare, but it is kind of in that same
Same world.
of like, this may have been one barrel that got put into bottles,
Right.
You know,
Yeah. Okay.
so
I'm gonna have to have for that one.
It is hard to get. So this week I was scrolling through Reddit, as you do, and I found on some of the cigar pages of Reddit just some questions, and some of them I'm like, well, duh, that's what you do, but they're things that I don't think we've ever talked about.
Okay.
So I'm going to read this, and we're going to try and give some good advice to this Redditor.
Let's do it.
So
Are you going to actually comment back on it so he actually gets the good advice, or?
no,
Okay.
I have no plan to do that.
I got you.
Yeah, these are.
Send a recording of the podcast to him.
I mean, these are questions that I don't think I ever would have thought of just things to answer for people that are newer into smoking cigars.
Interesting.
So this one, we'll start off. This is on r/humidors, which the other one I think is from that same place. But the subject is, where should I put the Bovita pack? So he says,
Okay.
I have a small humidor for up to 30 cigars that
And
has
honestly, that's a legit question.
that has a glass lid. I have only found Bovita holders that are for attaching on the inside of the lid. Is there any other way? Can I put the Bovita holder on the bottom and the cigars on top of the holder?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can stack cigars right on top of the Bovita. I mean, one thing I'd recommend, a lot of people will put, their Bovitas on the bottom and just stack on top of them. One thing I would recommend if you're doing that, and honestly, it might not matter if you're smoking them quick, but if you're aging them for a while, just rotate your cigars every once in a while. So the ones that are actually touching the Bovita pack go to the top and on down, but they shouldn't actually over humidify it that much to worry about. But no, they're actually designed to be able to stack right on top of the Bovitas. And if you're nervous about that, throw the Bovitas on top.
Well, and when I'm traveling and I still have not unpacked my Tupperware from my trip, I literally have cigars in there and just one of the normal sized. I don't know what those.
The little bitty ones, the 8 grams,
no, the bigger ones,
the 60 grams,
the 60 gram, 69 in there,
Yeah.
and there's no issue with those cigars.
And again, and we've said this before, but since we're talking about it here, you don't have to replace them until they're hard. Even when they have just a little bit of softness, they're still working. But once they start getting hard, just throw another one in there, and you don't have to actually think about it too much.
Yeah. Okay.
So no, actually, that's a good question.
It's just not something that I think we've ever.
I've had people ask me that before, and I've just said it, but I don't think we've ever said it on a broad scope before. So that's good.
So another one from r/humidors, we have a humidity question. So he says, my problem is kind of the opposite to the one most people have. I have a very nice Drew Estate 150 capacity humidor. He goes on to tell the story about how he won it.
And those are some really beautiful humidors.
Yeah, he said it seals very tightly. I have a Bluetooth temp and humidity sensor in it, so I keep it closed. This is my long-term storage humidor. I have other humidors for sticks that'll be getting out on the regular basis. Now then, the problem that I have is my humidity in the 150 unit stays around 80% with my CIgar gel humidifiers in it. And combined, they are only rated for 100 sticks. My smaller humidors stay at around 85 to 90% with a small humidifier in them.
Ouch.
My question is it okay to not use a humidifier in a humidor? As counterproductive as that sounds. He says, here's the thing. The humidity stays about an average of 40 to 50% during the day and 75 to 85% at night here. Every day and night unless it's raining.
Okay.
So I've only been smoking cigars for about 5 years, and everything I read talks about having a humidifier in the humidor to maintain the right humidity. Do I need it?
2 options.
Okay.
1, stop using beads. Unless you're in an area where you're staying, like in the winter in Indiana, we're dry. If you're
I would also say for like places like Phoenix, Arizona,
or
you're in a desert
Canada,
climate.
whatever, places that are drier, beads are fine because they're going to be putting juice back into your humidor constantly. If you have a change like that in humidity, the daytime's not going to give it enough time to actually equal out to the nighttime.
Yeah.
So use Boveda or get you an electronic humidifier that will only put humidity in when it needs it.
Yeah.
So if it's sitting at 80%, it's never going to put humidity in the air of that humidor until it needs to. So what'll happen is it'll slowly, gradually get back down to wherever you like it, somewhere between 60 and 70%, wherever you like that. Depending on your temperature, honestly, you can be in the low 60s if you're warm days every day.
Yeah.
But get your but once it gets down to that point, you set it to say 65. It will not kick on until it hits 65. So it's naturally drying him out to the proper, and you're not actually doing it fast.
Yeah.
Those are my 2 options. And if you're in that area, I would almost recommend doing a 62 or 65 at the most Boveda pack.
Yeah.
No reason to go up to a 69 or 72 in that climate.
So,
because I'm thinking that boy's got to have a hard time keeping the cigars lit.
he really does. 80%, 80 to 90%, even in your short-term storage humidor, is too. It's
too
just
wet.
too much.
Too wet.
Your cigars are spongy at that point.
I mean, think about it. So if you go outside, you're sitting outside, and it's 80% humidity, period. And you're sitting out in it, you're sweating.
Yeah.
It's just too much moisture.
If you're reading a book out there, all your pages are sticking together.
Yeah. It's the exact same thing with tobacco. It's not gonna want to stay lit. You're gonna be constantly relighting it. And honestly, I know most cigars now you don't have to worry about beetles because of the process they go through, but some don't do that process.
Yeah.
That's where your beetles are going to start coming active and start eating away at your cigars, especially in your long-term storage. That is, if you're doing long-term and it's at 80%, there's a good chance that maybe one of your cigars in there's probably got a beetle that's active.
Yes.
Keep your cellophane on if you're doing that too, because beetles can't eat through the cellophane.
Seriously. So what Rob just said there, don't use cigar beads. I think
you can use them, but it has to be a drier climate where you have to continue to have humidity put back in.
Yes.
But it's not going to pull it out as easily.
I don't think they pull out at all.
Unless they're dry. Unless they're like the beads are already dry. They might pull a little bit, but they're not designed to be going back and forth.
Well,
like
and a lot of those are systems where you're dumping in propylene glycol into them instead of distilled water.
Which is what's doing it, yeah.
And it doesn't soak in that easily.
No.
So I would quit doing that. And if my humidors were at 80%, first of all, what I would do is I do this. I have hygrometers in my house in different rooms because I have a lot of wood. I have a lot of music equipment that needs stable humidity if I'm going to take care of it a long time. But I would check one of those hygrometers and see what my house is running at. I know right now, today, my house is at 52%. If my humidor was running at 80%, you know what I'm doing? I am opening it.
Yeah, or take it out, period.
Yeah, I'm just going to
open and let it go.
Open it up and let things settle down.
One thing I will say is opening it in a drier climate, you don't want to have quick transitions.
But I think if your cigars are in cellophane,
that helps.
You'd be able to do it.
It does help. But just like temperature. Temperature is not a huge deal until you have quick changes.
Yeah.
If you're sitting at 75 degrees and all of a sudden you drop it down to 50, that's a shock. That's a shock to the system. You need to let them sit for a while. But yeah, I mean,
If your house is getting up to 75% humidity at night and then dropping back during the day, I honestly don't think that I would be storing in your typical humidors. I think you'd be chasing humidity way too much, and you would need some sort of dehumidification system. You know what? This may be the only time that I recommend one of like the winter humidors that are active cooling
And has the airflow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they make a lot of humidors now and none of them will tell you this, but the ones that have a drain plug in them are active cooling. It is literally doing the same thing as your AC unit or just a refrigerator.
Yeah.
As it cools the air, it pulls out humidity. So that may be the only time that I could see using something like that. I mean, up until this point, I've given everybody who's been like, hey, what do you think about this one? That's a hard no, because you're going to be fighting with that. But in a climate where your humidity, where you'd have to fight with it, that may be the only way to regulate it.
Could be.
In a long-term humidor solution.
And the other thing about those, like the Winters and New Airs and all those were never designed for cigars. Those are wine coolers that they converted. And there are some of the companies out there that are actually designing them to be more for cigars.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad to finally see that. But again, a lot of times, I mean, I don't want active fan pulling air in from the outside constantly, because it's going to work harder.
Yeah.
But again, like you said, with that kind of an environment, you might need that airflow to kind of balance it out.
Like I know
more.
Rob and I both have a New Air at our houses, and those do not have a compressor unit in it. They have basically the equivalent of a computer fan that keeps the air circulating inside of there.
Yeah.
You know what? That's okay sometimes.
Yeah.
But really, I think that would be good in a long-term humidor solution. Like you are looking to do aging and you don't want to touch it. Like you crack it every couple months to check on your humidity, whatever.
Well, and that was another thing I was thinking when you were talking about that. If your humidors are reading 80% or whatever, the first step I would do is check your hygrometers.
Yeah.
And make sure that they're accurate. And you can go online and look up the test, but it's literally a simple test. You get a Ziploc bag, you get a pop bottle cap filled about halfway up with salt, and then just wet the salt to where it's wet, not soppy, but wet. Bag it up, and by the next morning, it should read 75%. If it doesn't read 75%, say it reads 76%. Well, you know you're 1% off on your hygrometer. If you have a hygrometer you can calibrate, great. If you don't, you just know this is always reading 1% high.
Well, and if you didn't have one that you could calibrate, I'd hope that it's one of, like it's white or something like that. And I would just make a Sharpie mark on it and wouldn't worry about it then. I know Bovida also sells kits to calibrate hygrometers.
They do. But it's super simple with stuff you have at the house.
It really is.
It really works fine.
But
it is one of the things. I mean, being in the 80% range,
you'd be dealing with mold. You would have, in a climate that sounds like that. Like it sounds like it sounds like Florida. I don't know where he's at. I would guess Florida, maybe California, someplace like that where it's a little bit. I'm going to say tropical, but Florida's not tropical, but it is closer to that environment, like to the Caribbean and Cuba and stuff like that. And you know what? Maybe you don't need a humidity solution at all. Like just keep them in their boxes and check it before you smoke. I know that in a lot of the countries where they make cigars and they smoke them, they do not have humidors.
They don't really in Miami.
No.
I mean, going down to Aladino, his office, he's got all of his cigar boxes sitting on his desk, and you grab a cigar and smoke it, and it smokes fine.
Yeah.
They don't even need humidors down there, but we do up here in the north.
We do, because
or
we have
if you're
cold
in
winters.
Arizona or something like that, you do. And I will say, on the other side of that too, if you're in New Orleans or Houston where it's crazy humid during the winter or summer, and just normal humidity during the winter, yeah, you might need some dehumidification.
Yeah.
So it just depends on where you are too. It'd be interesting to find out where he is to be getting a swing
didn't
from
say on
40
there.
to
Yeah.
75% in every day. That's
I mean, genuinely, that makes me think of the climate down in Florida where you just get one 15-minute storm and the humidity just skyrockets.
it could be something like that.
We had that same thing when we were in St. Lucia a couple weeks ago where it would be like, it would probably be mid 60s every day, and then it would rain for like 5 minutes, and it was so hot that it would just go to near 100% humidity.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's cool. Those were actually good questions. And again, if you guys ever have any questions about any of this stuff and you want us to talk about it, I will say one thing. Are you doing a good job of reading comments if anyone's commenting on stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, good, because
Yeah.
I'm not doing a great job of that. So
Yeah.
if you do have any questions on anything, period, cigars or whiskey or whatever, let us know, because
Yeah.
if we don't know, we'll look it up and figure it out and let you know.
Comment on Instagram, or could they email you?
Oh, yeah, they can email us.
Yeah, so-
Yeah. Rob at finalthirdcigar.com.
Yeah. In an email in the subject line, just say something like "for the podcast." But if you have questions like that, literally don't feel like it's too stupid. We just answered a question about where to put a Bovida pack.
Yeah. But again, it's
if
just
you
like-
have the question, I am sure somebody else has the question or has had that question in the past. So
Well, and that's why, a lot of people, when they go into a cigar shop for the first time, and if you don't know how to cut or light a cigar, those of us that have been smoking forever, it seems kind of silly.
well, it's like
But if
second
you do it
nature
wrong,
to some extent.
if you do it wrong, it's gonna change your experience. And it's like with everything. Once the guy now learns you can put a Bovida pack anywhere, he's never gonna have to ask that question again.
no,
It's like once you learn it, you're good. But don't ever feel like you shouldn't ask. And if you're going to a shop or a lounge that makes you feel stupid, stop going to that shop or lounge.
serious.
Because that's what this is all about, is educating people so that they can enjoy the same things that we enjoy. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, literally, there is no question, nothing that's too dumb. I saw a post this week that some guy was like, I finally found a non-infused cigar that I liked, and his picture was of an acid Cuba Cuba.
Yeah.
It was just like, you know what? I'm glad you like that.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people that told him in a very mean way that is definitely infused.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's his cigar journey, and if that's what he likes, do it. Should you have access to better information? Yeah, like I'm kind of glad people corrected him. They could have been a lot nicer about it. Though.
Well, and I feel like in this world right now, especially with younger people getting into cigars, very few, even probably in the last 20 years, very few people started their journey with a non-flavored cigar.
I did. My first one was the Acid Blondie.
Yeah,
I smoked it in a hot tub.
And you
great
can go,
cigar experience.
Well, there's a reason why those are all at liquor stores and gas stations, because
that's where I bought it. Was
Yeah.
the liquor store.
And it's like, you can get you a cigar, smoke it, and try it, and you're like, oh, I kind of like this, and then the journey begins. But there's nothing at all wrong with any of those cigars, and if someone's telling you there's something wrong with them, it's really them. It's not you. So
Yeah. I mean, they are just perpetuating what's bad in this industry. The best cigar, like the Whiskey Tribe would say with whiskey, is the cigar you like to smoke the way you like to smoke it.
Exactly.
You know what? If you want to do a crown cut on top, which I've seen on a lot of the Facebook pages where you just double cut with a V,
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
If you want to do a straight cut, do that. If you want to do a punch cut, do it. If
Yeah.
you want to slice it off with your thumbnail, do it.
That's what they do in most cigar shop factories.
Smoke your cigar the way you like to. If you want to canoe it all the way down the side, do that. Just enjoy yourself. This is a relaxing thing.
what it's
And if
designed
that's what's
for.
relaxing for you, do it.
Yep, that's exactly what it's designed for. If you're sitting down relaxing and enjoying a cigar and a bourbon, or just a bourbon, that's what it's about. It's supposed to be an enjoyment to either do by yourself to relax or share that time with your buddies.
Yeah. So I'm into the second third of the Pie Synestesia Red, and the spice has found its way back for me, especially on the retrohale. It's leaned into some red pepper.
Yep.
On the palate, it's not quite peppery spicy. I think of it more of like a hot cinnamon,
Okay.
like a red hot sort of thing.
I'm just getting close to the second, third now, and this is one of those cigars that if you really are paying attention to it while you're smoking it, you're gonna have several transitions.
Yeah.
You like after the first maybe half inch, it got nice and mellow, and then you're like, oh, this is gonna be a mellow cigar. And then it's like slowly ramps back up, and it takes you on a little bit of a journey, which is nice in a cigar.
Yeah, and going from smoke to sip, this this Chat 111 really reminds me of like a spiced mead. Like the baking spices carry over from the cigar, and it's just that
Still the
rich honey, and it's thick on the palate.
It is.
I forgot how nice and oily this whiskey was.
Yeah.
It's-
No, I'm 100% with you.
I'm loving
I still
it.
get that almost like a cayenne pepper powder on top of honey.
Totally.
That's nice.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this. I'm actually down to the last drop, so I might dive into the Garrison Brothers.
Yeah. Go ahead and crack a bad boy open.
I can tell you, this cigar is great on its own. The sweetness, it doesn't naturally have a sweetness in there on the cigar, so a sweeter whiskey or a sweet leaning whiskey like the Chat 111 goes really well with it. This is crazy. On this Garrison Brothers, it is a more expensive bottle, but instead of a regular tag to pull the wax off, they put a strip of leather under there,
Oh, nice.
which
Which made it a whole hell of a lot easier to pull off.
it did. It legitimately
You're not going to rip
did.
you're not going to rip the leather in half.
Yeah, I shouldn't be impressed by it. It's an expensive bottle, but like, first of all, that's Texas. If that ain't Texas, I don't know what is.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
And these come with a nice little
yeah, they necklace
bottle
and
tag,
everything,
yeah.
man. Synthetic cork on this one, which actually I've grown to prefer in my whiskey journey as I started. When I saw a synthetic cork, I always thought, oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Real cork, something about it. Synthetic cork holds up a lot better long term and also has zero chance of tainting your whiskey if it sits there for too long.
and typically if it's the proper size cork, it's going to seal off a whole lot nicer.
I've had a lot of problems with real corks.
Well, you've also found a lot of like 50, 60, 70-year-old stuff that you're
Yeah,
a
but I'm
cork
talking
shouldn't
even
last
on
that
like,
long.
I'm talking even on modern whiskeys where the cork is just, it's like almost undersized, enough to seal it off while there's a seal on it, but not enough for like long-term storage. It's like the bottle gets down just a little bit too much and the cork dries out just a bit and it's just loose.
Yeah.
I've noticed there was a run of Hard Truth bottles that came out last year where the cork just got loose too quickly. I think they fixed it, but yeah, it's just I don't know. Tell me about this whiskey.
So yeah,
Rob.
so this one is a I'll just read it. This it's a Texas straight bourbon whiskey, bold and majestically crafted, having been aged not once but twice in two completely different oak barrels. So this one, their recommendation is this is a perfectly balanced, rich bourbon flowing with crimson candy flavor.
I don't know what.
So the
Crimson
Balmoria,
Candy is.
I'm not sure either, but this won the 2022 San Francisco World Spirits Double Gold, and that's a big competition.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, so it's 115 proof, and you can see it. It's dark. It's got a really nice darkness. It doesn't say the age, so I'm assuming it's probably just 4 years. But it's so the corn varietal is food grade #1 white corn from farms in South Texas. So it's a Texas corn.
Not feed corn.
Nope.
Crimson Candy. It's that ribbon candy.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
interesting.
That nice little fall candy.
Yeah. So on the nose, it's very maple syrupy to me.
Yeah, maple.
There's also a corn presence. It's like you made a maple syrup butter and put it on a cornbread muffin.
You ever have those root beer barrels as a kid?
Yeah, I can
Reminds
see
me of
that.
a root beer barrel.
Yeah, totally. Oh my gosh, it is super dark too.
Oh my God. Cannot believe that's 115. So, okay, I will tell you, it's oaky,
It is root beer oak.
but where the C923 was
The
over
back of the
medicinal,
palate is like sarsaparilla.
100%. That's exactly where I was heading with it. The oak actually plays nice in it. The flavors are still good. It's not the tannic oak. It's the flavor of oak, which we dig. And this stuff is still dripping off the glass and heavy and viscous, even more viscous than that Chat 111 was.
Okay. So on the back of the palate, as this finishes, it hits like a sarsaparilla, a super root beery note.
Yep.
And then as it hangs and you start breathing on it, it's fennel or black licorice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels like it wants to be in the absinthe world.
And not you guys that don't like black licorice will still be able to enjoy this. That is a particular flavor note that I just had to pull out of this. It's really good. Super viscous on the palate.
That is delicious. I can't believe I'm just now starting to get into Garrison Brothers stuff.
Yeah. It's like black pepper oaky, ton of root beer, and then it just finishes with that sarsaparilla.
And with the
fennel
cigar, it pops all the baking spice notes out of that cigar. It tones down on any of the sweetness we were getting, but all the baking spice notes and still that little bit of black and red in the nose.
Yeah, it kind of dried out like the sweetness of the cigar.
Yeah, it did.
Just because this is so inherently sweet.
Yeah,
let my cigar
you need
go
to get in
out.
here and try this. This one is special.
I also think it's a good introduction into Texas whiskey if you've never had any. Like this is
I don't know about introduction because the price point. That's the only problem.
at a bar.
At a bar,
At a
for
bar,
sure.
you'll be able to taste this, and if you've had enough like Tennessee, Kentucky, a whiskey, you'll be able to say, "Oh, I kind of understand what they're saying when they're saying this is distinctly
Dude,
Texas."
I'll tell you what would be a fun little journey would be come in here sometime, and if you're looking for hanging out for a while and you're going to have 2 or 3 pours, and you don't mind starting with a low proof, going to a higher proof, start with the Yellow Rose
Yeah,
and get you a nice, and that's a Kentucky whiskey, more fruit forward, flavorful, sweeter, and only 80 proof. Jump to the Balcones,
yeah.
and then jump to this Garrison Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to see a journey of Texas, what they're doing down there. And that really gives you a wide
You
range of
just
what's
said
going
Yellow
on.
Rose was Kentucky. It's Texas. Yeah,
Texas. I'm
okay.
sorry. I meant Texas. Yeah.
Correct.
All 3 of those are from Texas. So it'll give you a good opportunity to see what's going on in Texas across the board. And eventually I'll probably get Still Austin. I don't think are they even selling here yet?
I think they are. I as far as I remember, I've seen them at Total Wine, which Still Austin is one of the best distilleries in Texas.
Oh, it's a small little distillery. Alan and I went there. Shout out to Alan.
Shout out.
He stopped by and saw us last night too.
Heck yeah.
And he actually brought Lisa a barrel or a big red pick of the True Blue from Balcones because that's one of her favorites.
What a homie. I love
Dude,
Alan
he's
Hill.
amazing. But he's actually honestly the one that really got me into Texas whiskeys.
Yeah.
Just because he's brought Lisa and I both a bunch of samples of different Texas whiskeys. I don't know if the dude travels down there a lot, but I know he's down there a lot.
He travels
I don't
a
know
lot.
I'm not sure what all he travels down there for, but yeah, I mean I will say one thing. It's different than Kentucky bourbon.
Yeah.
It's different than Tennessee whiskey.
Yeah.
It's just it's its own animal, and it should be. It should be its own animal, and it is. And they're
Well,
doing
it's
a great
just
job.
like the Colorado bourbons are different
100%.
than Kentucky.
Yeah.
I think Indiana and Kentucky have similar enough climates and agriculture
Yeah.
that we can get pretty close. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of similarities between Indiana and Kentucky.
We're just a lot younger in the game than Kentucky is. In
well,
Indiana.
I mean, not when you consider places like MGP.
Well, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about all the
craft
distillery.
scene.
Yeah.
But you go down to Texas, it's a completely different climate. Their agriculture's different.
And they're somewhat new
They are new
to
to
this
the scene.
game. I'm sure they've been making whiskey for a long time, but to really get the accolades they've been getting, they're probably new to the last maybe 10 years of really making great product.
Yeah. It's amazing. I would love one day. I would like to have a bottle from every state and just be able to say, let's do a very small pour of every single one, and let's just walk through it. you know?
And just like Michigan has some really great distilleries. I mean, you've got Traverse City Whiskey Company. Their barrel proof stuff is delicious. Some of their barrel picks are fantastic.
Yeah.
You got Journeyman that's on the way, and they're starting to build their portfolio and making some great stuff. You got some small ones like Mammoth that's starting to make some good product up there. So I'm with you. I think that would be a blast to have something from every state to kind of figure out what's the different I mean, just like you go up to the Northeast, and they have some of that corn strains and wheat strains that are kind of different than what we have here.
Totally.
So it's going to give you a different profile.
I wish we had a big enough platform. I've seen a lot of people on the food YouTube space saying, like, they'll do these videos that are like, I made food, the famous food from all 50 states. But they're going out of their way to pull people to say which food represents your state.
Yeah.
Like, it would be amazing if we could say which whiskey represents your state the best, and just have people vote on the distillery.
So there's a good conversation. What whiskey in Indiana represents Indiana whiskey?
MGP.
Right now?
I would legitimately have to say MGP.
And it's the 95.5 rye.
Or the 36% bourbon. Like, the high rye bourbon is one of the most famous things to come out of Indiana.
You're right.
Of all time.
And honestly, the reason why
as much as I would love to stay Starlight or Spirits of French Lick or Old 55, like, as far as famous in this state and out of this state, it is the MGP high rye bourbon.
Okay, that makes sense. And if you know anything about Indiana, our governor, I think in the last maybe 2 or 3 years, rye is our state whiskey.
Yeah,
and it's because of MGP.
Yeah,
it's 100% because of MGP. Because if you're a bourbon guy, MGP.
Yeah,
almost every small distillery around the nation either buys MGP, Barton.
Yeah.
Those are the two biggest.
Dickel.
Yeah. That's probably where they're getting some of their stuff from. Now you have some offshoots like Ohio. You got Watershed that's doing some stuff for people.
You also now have Bardstown Bourbon Company that's
BBC.
doing a lot for people.
Yeah, BBC's doing a lot for people right now. They're actually they're one
but
of the first ones that
they
actually
don't quite have the age of like your MGPs or like George Dickel. You can source a 12 to 17 year product from them, which is just crazy.
And it's all going to taste like mothballs.
It does kind of do that.
But it's kind of cool to see that, because like BBC, maybe other ones are doing this. I know MGP is doing this now, but BBC is actually part of their model is, if you have a brand and you want to have them do it, they'll age it there for you, they'll bottle it there for you, and your brand can be right out of BBC.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that what Green River's doing now?
So Green River is owned by BBC.
They're owned by them now.
Now they're taking part in the contract distillation for other brands.
Yeah.
So you can have your stuff produced, aged, bottled at the Green River distillery.
Yeah.
Just like you can at BBC.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, that's pretty cool too. Like I've been seeing it's been happening a lot over the last 4 or 5 years, maybe even longer than that. But I've seen a lot in the last 6 months of new celebrities that are coming out with their own bourbon.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing. They're going to these distilleries that do that and say, make me a bourbon. You know, some of them I'm sure have input on what they want. Some of them probably don't care.
Yeah.
But, you know, they're creating, I mean, Blacken did that. Blacken is all from the Metallica boys.
Yeah. They did a lot with Willet.
With Willet, yeah,
releases.
exactly. You got your new, Buble. He's got his coming out, which
Yeah.
I can't remember who he got it with, but
It was sourced from Canada and
it's a Canadian,
from
which
Heaven
makes
Hill.
sense because he's a Canadian, and why wouldn't he not do that?
But just thinking, like, what if you were to choose one bottle for Kentucky whiskey? Like, this represents Kentucky whiskey. What would it be for you?
Right.
No, like, what would you choose?
Kentucky?
Yeah.
Heaven Hill's my jam.
I would have to agree. And
I
would
love
say
Heaven Hill.
Heaven Hill bottled in bond.
Oh yeah,
I would say.
and I would even take that one step further. I would say the new Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond.
Yeah.
Because I love the old, but the new one, just a year older, is a totally different animal now.
It is.
And honestly, it's worth the jump from $20 to $50.
And those have been sitting on shelves at Meijer
Yes.
everywhere.
And if you don't
Please
have one
get
of those,
one.
get one.
Just get one.
Those-
Don't buy one on secondary. There's no need for that. If you see the Heaven Hill blue and white label,
Just get it.
7-year, buy it.
and maybe buy a couple bottles because you're going to want them. And I will say another thing too with that is the JTS Browns or the JW Dan or any of those like Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond, lower age statement bourbons, you're going to pay 15, 20, somewhere in that
Yeah.
range for them. Buy those for your cocktails because they're good by themselves. But then buy the Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond as your
Sipping.
pour,
Yeah.
and you're still only going to pay $50 for a really great pour.
Yeah.
But
Meijer, it's
Heaven
at that
Hill's
like
my jam.
$44 range. So it's
For Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond,
42, 44.
it's a hell of a price for that bourbon because that bourbon,
Yeah.
I find myself going back to that a lot more than I used to.
I mean, for a whiskey that represents Kentucky, I either have to say that or Henry McKenna 10.
yeah, I mean,
Still-
and honestly, you could even say Buffalo Trace just because they have such a name and everyone knows them. Buffalo Trace is not typically my jam, except for when you get to like the Stag Junior and some of that stuff.
But I would have to make the argument that Heaven Hill, like the general flavor palette of most Heaven Hill offerings, is closest to
traditional
Kentucky.
I agree.
That nuttiness in there is something that carries through the Beam catalog.
Yeah.
And some of the old Forester offerings and even some Mictors still have that nutty quality that is just like, this is Kentucky.
Well, and saying that too, and throwing Beam in the loop here too, you can't throw a rock at any distillery in Kentucky and they don't have a Beam influence.
Yeah.
They all have had either somebody from the Beam family or someone from the distillery that's been a part of their distillery. And that's why when you have a place like Heaven Hill or Beam or Buffalo Trace, any of those makers, Turkey, all those, when they have a distillery fire, all the other distilleries come together and make sure that they're taken care of. Because everyone's in the family. It's family. And that's one thing I do appreciate about Kentucky bourbon. And I'm seeing that in other states now too, like Texas specifically. It's a family. All of them love each other. All of them work together and they do stuff together.
And they're working together to promote the Texas whiskey category.
Absolutely.
In general.
Well, I mean, it was kind of fun down at the Bastards Ball at Crowded Barrel. Crowded Barrel's really, really new to the scene. But they won a huge award in Texas as the best single malt in Texas. And the funny thing was, Rex is standing up on the stage talking to everybody, and you've got Balcones over here, you got Still Austin over here, you got Ironwood over here, you got all these distilleries that have all worked together, and really all of them have worked hard with Crowded Barrel to make sure they succeeded. And he's out there just saying, "Hey guys, we won best single malt." And the funny thing is, they won the best single malt, and the guys from Ironroot were the ones that actually smoked the grains for them.
Yeah.
So they all work together
Yeah,
because they're all
it was
trying to create something. And it was just more of a
collaborative
like,
thing.
look what we did, and by the way, look what we did. And I thought that was pretty special.
Yeah. So we would say a bottle like Henry McKenna 10 or Heaven Hill bottled in bond for Kentucky.
Yeah.
What
absolutely.
would you do for Tennessee?
Tennis, you got to go Jack.
Yeah.
I mean, Jack
which Jack offering though?
I would probably say just straight single barrel.
That's what I was thinking.
Probably
as
the
well.
low proof one because it still tastes great, but it's a lot more palates.
Yeah.
For us, obviously, it's the barrel proof.
Yeah.
But even that new
Triple mash.
triple mash,
Yeah.
because it has a blend of all three of their mashes.
But I think for something being iconic,
It's
in
gotta be Jack.
Tennessee. It's just gotta be Jack.
And that's the thing, if you want to buy cheap bourbon and you're mixing with Coke or something, Jack number 7 is still probably one of the biggest selling bourbons for Cokes. That's why it's called Jack and Coke. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone knows it. There's
Anytime
actually a
I'm at a
Jack
bar-
and Coke in a can now.
Yeah.
There's a reason why Coke partnered with Jack to do that.
Yeah, I mean, Jack and Coke or Beam and Coke.
Yeah.
Those are your two things.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, Tennessee for sure. And that's the thing. Is like you got Chat 111. They're from Tennessee. It's a different offering than traditional Tennessee whiskey.
well,
but
and
it still leads.
if we
into
were
those
doing
profiles.
this flight, we'd have to say these are the iconic profiles from these states. Like these represent what other people in those states, other distilleries, are looking to do.
Yeah. And that's one thing, like with Texas, I would say across the board. Now, I will say I love Garrison Brothers now. I love Balcones. Some of the Crowd Barrel stuff I tried, I really liked. I would say for them, I would almost have to go back to Still Austin.
That's what I was thinking as well. Yeah.
Now, are there outliers of Balcones and Garrison Brothers and stuff that I like more? Yeah. But as a traditional bourbon, I feel like their profile is really good. And they work with Nancy Fraley, which has an amazing palate.
Yeah.
And she does barrel picks every month, and they sell out of those barrel picks every month with Still Austin. And I would say I would have to probably give them the nod on that one. They may not be the biggest of all of them there, but
they have done the best for the Texas whiskey name across the states.
yeah. And I would almost have to say Balcones is really close to them too.
I would, but
The only difference is
Balcones
does a lot
younger
of,
offerings burned a lot of people on Texas whiskey.
did they? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Balcones alone across the board, they do a lot more different finishes, different product lines.
Yeah.
Still Austin's really more leaning towards whiskey, bourbon,
Yeah.
Texas whiskey. And it's like, they don't do a lot of those outliers like Balcones do. One thing about Balcones is True Blue, one of the best blue corn whiskeys I've ever had, cast
Yeah.
strength. But you do the baby blue, it's not good.
It's not great.
It's too low a proof for
Yeah.
what it is. It's kind of like going back to to Jason's, sweet corn. The cast strength sweet corn was really good, but when he proofed it down to 80 proof, it was not drinkable.
Well,
And
it's
it's just like
it-
don't proof it down.
that sweetness still carries through, but there's none of the spice anymore once it's
Mm-hmm.
proofed down to balance it out. Gary, don't you worry. For Missouri, we got to go Wood Hat.
Wood Hat,
I don't know anyone else in Missouri that's one making whiskey, but two that could probably even hold a candle.
No,
to that.
not even close. Not even. No, there's nothing close at all. And actually, we're in the process of talking about doing an orange corn pick there,
Yeah.
and that is some of the best sweet corn bourbon I've ever had in my life. And we're going to be doing one of those. I know Will's been talking about doing it here soon. So
And
His
for you guys that are watching, you'll probably see that Rob and I are relighting our cigars a couple times. That's
talking.
not because of the cigar. That's just because we keep running our mouths. I think for Georgia, it would have to be 13th Colony now.
oh yeah, they
Yeah.
seem to have a. I mean, they
got 'em.
and
I
we're
still
supposed to be
haven't-
getting those here soon.
I haven't tried any of the 13th Colony stuff, but
I thought Will brought some. Did he not bring some?
he could have. I
can't remember.
I
either.
don't quite remember if he did. He brings a lot of samples.
Yeah, he does.
But and that we appreciate.
Yes,
we
yes.
definitely appreciate. My whiskey palate has been greatly expanded just
Well,
by knowing you.
and I would like to. I do want to shout out Eric Jansen. So Eric, if you know Eric, or if you've ever met him, he's the redhead with a cowboy hat most of the time.
Yeah.
And he's in here quite a bit. He's
And if he
getting
doesn't
married.
have a cowboy hat, he definitely looks like he's farmed.
Oh yeah, 100%. And he is. He's from
Yeah.
a farming family. He was in here. We're recording on a Friday. He was in here last night, and he invited a bunch of people just to come hang out.
Yeah.
It was the 8th anniversary of his dad's passing, and it was just a celebration of his dad's life. And there were so many great bottles brought out to sample and to share. He brought in his favorite 8-year bourbons. I think he brought like 7 bottles of different ones to try. It was really cool. And that's honestly, that is to me the epitome of a bourbon event.
Yeah.
It's a celebration. It's a celebration of something, whatever's going on. Maybe you got a promotion. Maybe it's Tuesday and you're wanting to celebrate. Bring
Maybe
some
it's
people
just
together.
a celebration of drinking good whiskey with people you
There
love.
is nothing like that. I mean, I know I'm more of an introvert where I like to be by myself a lot, and I have to do that to recharge. But there's nothing like hanging out with buddies that are into bourbon and cigars, and just hanging out and sharing pours and just doing life together. I mean, it's there's nothing like it at all. And last night was just a fantastic night of that.
Last night the table had on it.
We probably had 35 bottles up here at one point.
Yeah, but I the ones that stuck out for me was a Jack Daniel's 12. We had
I didn't even see that on the table.
yeah, it was here.
Shit.
Maker's Cellar Aged was here.
Which we both did on last show, and it was freaking delicious.
So good.
Isaiah sniped that bottle last night.
Well, Will was kind enough to give that to me, and I thank you. I
and that's
can't
the thing
thank
too.
you enough for it.
And that's a great point too, because Will bought that bottle because we've all been wanting to try it. He bought it. It wasn't his jam,
it wasn't.
and it's like it was the best Makers I've ever had. Period.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I know it's
I
definitely
think
the
so,
best for me.
definitely.
But it wasn't his jam, and that's cool. It's like that's something else that I think a lot of people don't realize or don't do is if you get a good group of friends together and you buy a bottle and you share it with your buddies, everyone buys something special, and it's like I don't like this as much, but I like that better, and you don't like that as much, but you like this better. Swap bottles, man.
Yeah.
That's what the fun of this is. Don't worry about the price points. If you like it, you like it, and just go with it.
Yeah, I mean, my jam last night that I didn't even drink the cellar age because there was a little bit left by the time I got here.
You're gonna
that I
baby
took.
the rest of that bottle.
Well, and I know Isaiah Long, which he's been on the show before.
Shout out to Isaiah.
Huge Makers fan.
And if he hasn't had this yet, he's gonna freaking die.
and I'm saving the rest of it to share with him. But he's the type that there's a couple stores in Nashville when they release Makers picks, he goes out of his way to buy them
yeah.
because he loves those stores' palate, and he also just is absolutely in love with Makers like I am. I have not found stores that have a similar Makers palate as I do here. In Nashville, Nashville Bourbon Social Club, MBSC, is in Nashville. They're a Facebook group, also a bourbon club. They kill it with their Makers picks. They had one called, I think it was like white chocolate, cinnamon truffle.
Ooh.
And they release them around Christmas every single year. And that's still one of those bottles that I just regret never being able to get one.
Yeah.
Like Bother's Makers pick that he brought in and gave us a sample of on the show. Such a good Makers pick.
Oh, that was the two we had.
Yeah.
Last show, wasn't it?
One before last.
Okay, yeah. No, that was good. I like that a lot too.
Yeah.
And that's something funny too. It's like we're sitting here talking about, the Kentucky bourbon. You got Makers and Four Roses fall in the same category for me. They're more floral, and that's not my jam. But just like like any distillery, Four Roses. I don't drink a lot of Four Roses, but that what was it? The OESK from Elite Beverage I had, freaking delicious.
Yeah.
It was amazing. So you're gonna find from every distillery, you're gonna find something in your palate range eventually.
Yeah, I mean, I think about it the same way that I do foods. Forever, I thought I didn't like Brussels sprouts, and then I went to a barbecue place that did fried Brussels sprouts and with some sort of dry rub on them, and I was like, "Holy crap! I love Brussels sprouts."
I'm the same way, man.
Yeah.
I always hated Brussels sprouts because you always had the boiled ones that are just like, ugh. But when they,
like
I'm
bitter
the same
little
way.
cabbages, and then but that's the way I think about food. Is I just haven't tried the right preparation yet. I'm sure I will like something from this distillery. I just haven't had the right offering yet. I just haven't had Brussels sprouts cooked the right way yet that hit my palate.
So some other states that maybe,
Yeah.
I mean, like Colorado.
Yeah. Who's your pick? I would have to say Stranahan's out of Colorado.
Stranahan's is probably the most well-known out of Colorado. I really love Peachtree. What they're doing at cask strength now, and they didn't release a lot of cask strength stuff because that's just not the Colorado palate. But now they're starting to put out more of their cask strength stuff. I love the Peachtree stuff. But again, it is a different animal. I mean, you're using grains from another part of the country, and it's nice. But Stranahan's across the board is probably what you would think of as Colorado whiskey.
Yeah.
Are there any other states you can think of? What? Okay, Canadian. What would be Canadian for you?
Canadian, I would have to go with the Alberta Premium Rye.
Okay.
Cask strength rye. I think that is so distinctly Canadian, and it's a palate that you only get in Canada.
Okay.
Their ryes come off more pepperminty to me than anything else. And
Okay.
I don't, that's not a rye for me all season long, but you get some snow on the ground, like you bet I'm open up that Canadian, Alberta Premium Rye.
Even that one that Luke gave us last week to try, the Canadian Club 12 year, that one reminds me of Canadian whiskey. Is it one we're going to seek after? Probably not, because it was a little lower proof.
Yeah.
But it had that Canadian kind of feel. I mean, I know a lot of people know Crown and stuff like that.
I mean, Canada here is really known for their ryes. Like a lot of the old Whistle Pig stuff was high-aged Canadian rye.
I didn't know that.
And
okay.
And they've changed over now. I think Whistle Pig's in Vermont.
Now, if you want the best Canadian, I think that we have around here, it's that Old Bones, 17-year-old Canadian rye from Backbone.
Oh my gosh.
135 proof, but man,
it's
is it
so
beautiful.
good.
It's beautiful.
That is probably going to be my winter pour.
Oh, it has to be.
Just
It's going to warm you up.
Curl up by the fire with
Yep.
that Old Bones, and I'll be in my happy place.
So,
where's Sagamore out of?
Sagamore.
Are they Maryland?
Or New York?
I got to look it up, because whatever it is, they want it for their state.
Yeah, and they do for sure. I mean, if I'm looking at like Ohio, I mean, I think Watershed does a lot of good stuff out of Ohio, but they're very similar to Indiana, where they have a lot of younger distilleries that are up and coming. I really love High West. High West out of Columbus is or not High West, High Bank.
Yeah.
They're making some great whiskey right now, and I feel like they're doing it a little different to be an Ohio whiskey.
Yeah. So Sagamore is out of Maryland.
Okay.
So
Maryland. Okay.
Yeah. So you would do High Bank for Ohio?
I honestly, right now, I would, just because I love that product. It's so good. And also not
for these other distilleries that we're talking
back.
about, we are not talking about sourced brands. OKI's out of Ohio. I think that would be a great contender, but it is sourced.
It is, yeah. Which, again, we say this all the time. There's nothing wrong with sourced whiskey.
Nothing wrong. But for this flight that we're creating, a spirit that represents
the state, yeah,
it's got to be there. What would you do? You've been to Michigan so much more than I have. And what would you do? Their scene continues to change. You got Journeyman.
Yeah.
You also have the Dragon's Milk stuff coming out of there.
I will say that the Dragon's Milk cask strength is delicious. I would not put that as this is representing Michigan.
Yeah.
It's an off-flyer. I think it's very, 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 very good. Even the original Origin Dragon's Milk, which was lower proof, I think it was it 100 proof, or maybe it was less than 100 proof.
Yeah.
It was delicious too. I would almost just because I really like a lot of their stuff, I would almost have to say maybe Traverse City.
Yeah.
Because they do a lot, and they also they also go heavy. And again, we're not flavored whiskey guys, but they go heavy into the whole Michigan thing, and Michigan cherries are freaking amazing. And they do a cherry whiskey there that's their number one seller, and people love it because they're making cocktails with it. Nothing wrong with that. But
I
their
bet that'd be a
cast strength
fantastic old fashioned.
Oh, yeah, it is. I've
Yeah.
had it up there
Yeah.
before. It's very, very good. But even their barrel proof stuff, old fashions are great too.
Totally.
But yeah, I'd say them for Michigan, probably for me. Journeyman's on the road up. They're making some great stuff. But I would say Journeyman, and you say this a lot. I feel like Journeyman's definitely more grain forward than what Traverse City is.
Yeah.
Traverse City is a little bit better balanced, but you're going to get all the grain notes out of every one of the whiskeys that you're going to get out of Journeyman for sure.
Yeah.
Illinois, I mean, I love the Whiskey Acre stuff.
I don't really know of any.
There's not any really big distilleries in Illinois.
I would have no problem giving it to Whiskey Acres.
Yeah. I mean,
the
it's
stuff
like,
that they've come out with is very agriculturally focused.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that for an agriculture state.
but the only problem with Whiskey Acres is, again, they're small, but you're in a state where there's not a lot going out. I mean, Koval might be the biggest distillery in Illinois, maybe. I don't know.
But Koval sucks.
But I'm not a big fan of Koval. I mean, I'm just saying,
what?
they're
I take
bigger.
that back. If you like Koval, that's great.
Oh, yeah.
I have never had a Koval offering.
I've only had one.
Yeah.
So I can't really say much about their product, but I don't know. I mean, because there's this one called Stumpy's, which is out of like just east of St. Louis, and some of their cast strength stuff was really good, but they're more known for their flavored stuff.
Yeah.
Like their lemon whiskey and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Made for cocktails. Good stuff, but that'd be a fun state to see how things go. But Illinois is just like East California on their politics, and I don't know if there's a lot of laws prohibiting them from doing stuff. I don't know. But I don't know. I mean, are there any other states really kind of hitting the ground running right now? I mean, Georgia's starting to kind of come up a little bit. The Carolinas, some of the ones that Will has brought us from North Carolina have been really good. And it's escaping me
he
the
even
names
brought
of
us
them.
a Louisiana whiskey that was fantastic.
Yes.
But I forget who it was.
I can't remember either. Louisiana is another one I think that's going to be up and running here soon. Why not? You're already the party city. I mean, you might as well start throwing some good stuff out there.
Yeah. I think it would be a fun thing for us to eventually put together a flight of these are
states.
Yeah, these are
favorites.
the states.
Yeah.
I would
Sounds like we're going to have to buy some more whiskey.
Well, if we had a Patreon page or something like that, it would be it would be fun to like say, okay, here's what we're offering to our people. Like, here's an opportunity to buy a flight and do it with us. Like, even on a live stream of just say like, let's run this flight together. Like, you and I probably would not be drivable at the end of that.
No, that'd be a fun day. And that's one thing too. I know we've actually been growing the page quite a bit, and a lot of people from other states are coming in. If there's a distillery you love out there, in your state that you love us to try, put together a couple little 1 or 2 ounce little bottles and send them to us. Reach out to me and I can send you an address or something like that. We'd love to try some other distilleries around because, not all of them are distributing to our state yet, but after Will introduced us to Wood Hat, Will is actually part owner of a distribution
distributor,
a liquor distributor. You know what? They're always looking for new good bourbons around the country that they can bring into our state, and that's a nice way to do it with a smaller distillery. It's actually going to go out and sell your
sell their product.
Distributor.
Yeah.
To sell your product. They'll come out and do it. I mean, Frey Ranch is getting a whole bunch of publicity right
Absolutely,
now.
they are.
And we saw them. We had a little a tasting here one day of Frey Ranch stuff. It was good, and I think they're starting to get notoriety. I think there's a celebrity that's working with Frey Ranch right now and doing something too.
Yeah.
So-
well, and out of Washington, you have a couple, but I think the one that's taken that that state by a storm has been Dry Fly out of Spokane.
Okay,
And
I've heard of them.
They're putting out a ton of single barrel offerings that are hazmat or around there. And they're just so creative with what grains they're using and what they're doing.
I'm anxious to try. Will went down with Fred Minnick's group down to Key West to the Hemingway distillery down there, and they picked a rye to bring up here. I'm anxious to try that because they fell in love with it. You know, obviously they're more known for their
rums,
the rums, the Pilar, Papa Pilar, and all that,
Pilar.
and
which are great.
They are great. They're
Fantastic.
great rum, and we do have both of them or two of them on here. We got the sherry cask and the blonde rum.
Yeah.
And but I'm anxious to try the rye because it's again another one I've never tried. But yeah, I mean that's one of the most fun things to do is just when you're traveling, just pick, research a couple of distilleries. Just stop by and try their stuff because you never know, you're going to find maybe a distillery that you absolutely love.
And typically, distilleries will have better offerings there than they do at liquor stores. So,
and a lot of them only release them at the distillery because they're small enough where they can't distribute. And that's great. I mean, that's why some of these distilleries we've talked about, they'll have special releases at the distillery because it may be one barrel.
Yeah.
And you're talking 120 to $200 bottles max. They're going to sell them at the distillery because they can.
Yeah, yeah. I'm getting into the final third of this cigar. On the palate, the baking spices have really ramped up. They're becoming more spicy. There's a lot of red pepper on the retrohale. It is definitely full-bodied territory.
Okay.
With the whiskey, there's just so much. And I'm on the Garrison Brothers right now. That sweetness really carries through and brings back some of that like spicy gingerbready qualities that I've been talking about. This cigar really is complex and changes throughout the entire smoke.
It does.
I remember smoking it last night, and I was just blown away. The Osgener family stuff should not be slept on whatsoever. The Aramis that came out this year, this that came out, they're just wonderful.
They really are.
They are wonderful offerings. And for as small as the brand is right now, it's not going to be small long.
No. I think they're doing some good stuff. And again, I think we might have said this before, but Osgener is the O in CAO.
Yeah.
And then they left there. This is now their new brand. They're not new to the industry by any means.
No.
And they've partnered with Crowned Heads, and they're doing amazing stuff. And
They are.
We're excited about that. One thing I will tell you, so we here recently, it was actually just this week, Dirk released, and Dirk is Indiana Bourbon on all the Instagram and Facebook pages, but he also runs the End of Watch program, which again, that is a program that all the money raised on bottle sales goes to End of Watch, which is giving money back to families of fallen officers. And this last year has been brutal, man. I think there's been like 8 officers in a year, which is unheard of in Indiana. That's in just Indiana. That's unheard of. Usually it's no more than maybe 2 or 3 at the most. So he's been raising money on that. The latest one was a Hard Truth Sweet Mash Rye. And people are coming in here picking them up now. I think last time I checked, he still had a few bottles on his website to sell.
And they're at a good price.
How many? 18. So he's got 18 left as of recording. So by Monday, it'll probably be a little less than that. But
$79, which is the normal price for a Hard Truth Rye.
Exactly. He's not overcharging in any way at all. But it's a barrel pick.
First of all, you can be assured that the palate that picked it is wonderful.
Yeah, Dirk has a fantastic palate. His wife has a great palate. Yeah. One of their buddies was on that pick, and I was the other one. We had 4 of us on that, and and I'll be totally transparent. I picked a different barrel as my number one. This was my number two. The only reason I picked the other ones because I think it was a lot more complex.
Yeah.
But the one they picked was definitely more of a crowd pleaser. It's
Yeah.
definitely more for across the board, and it's delicious and it's been selling. And if you know Dirk, he always does an amazing bottle hanger tag to basically have a tribute to the officers. This one was for, I believe, all the state police that had fallen. It was 5 officers that had fallen last year in the state police realm, and he has a badge with all their names on it. I'm still happy to see that most of the pickups have been officers coming in that were able to get that to tribute their fallen buddies,
And it's a great cause, and it's also a great way to get a bottle.
Yeah.
He's not cheating anybody.
Nope.
And you're not really paying charity prices for these bottles.
Well, and I will tell you, a lot of people have been buying 2 bottles for the sole purpose of I'm cracking one and I'm holding on to one as a tribute. That's honestly the way to go with these tribute bottles. If you're wanting to save one as a tribute, always buy another one to try it, because everything Dirk's going to pick is going to be good.
Yeah.
And so that's just one you need to definitely keep an eye on him. If you're not following him yet, do so. If you also go to their website, which we'll tag it on a lot of our posts too, or if you're in here, you can scan it. If you're looking for a place to just donate some money to a amazing
They are a
cause,
501c3.
They're a 501c3, so you can write it off on your taxes, but it's also, you're contributing to one of the best causes in our state. You can do that. I know we're getting to the end of the year where a lot of people are trying to find those donations. That would be a great place to do your donation for the end of the year. So, definitely consider that, because they're near and dear to our heart. We love Dirk and his family, but we love the cause even more. And
the other thing is, we're coming on the end of the year. If you are looking for a gift for an officer or somebody in that line of work, that would be an amazing thing to get them.
Absolutely,
even if it's not something that they're looking for as far as bourbon or rye. Like, just telling them that story and how even you purchasing the bottle supported a family of a fallen officer.
Yeah.
It's a magnificent gift.
Well, and in this world we're in right now, I mean, you're starting to see a lot of the political crap on everything now. And you got so many of these political sides that are like, we went through a lot of defunding of officers in cities around the country and stuff like that. It's like, that's not the answer. Sorry if that's where you feel, but that's not the answer. There, of course, in any situation, in any business, in any line of work, there are assholes.
Yeah.
In every line of work. Don't judge the entire officer community based on the outliers, because 99% of those guys are amazing people being underpaid to protect us and keep us safe. It's like, we need to support that. So you can do that. If you're in here and you ever want to do it, we've got a scan code. You can go right to their Venmo page and immediately donate. Their website, he's getting ready to add a donate button. So we won't belabor that, but that's something we want to do. Also, we want to thank Derek.
We do.
Because we get so many people loving this table that we record on. He just does amazing woodworking.
Look him up. Deadwood Live.
Deadwood Live on Facebook. Reach out to Derek. He can make you something amazing that's one of a kind for your bar. And we can't say enough about his work. So thank you guys for listening in.
Man, Rob, this is a wonderful pairing.
It is.
And it's going to be up on the pairing board through the end of November.
Yep.
Check out the Pie Synestesia Red and give Chattanooga Whiskey 111 a try.
Absolutely.
I promise you are not going to be disappointed whatsoever with it. Nope. And it's wonderful. All the honey notes, all of the baking spice notes. Might be a perfect fall winter pairing as far as that goes.
And just kind of a little precursor to next week, we'll probably be doing the Penelope Toasted Rye on the show.
Heck yeah.
We just got that in, so we'll have that on the shelf. We've got a Kentucky Owl up here. We've got the new Heaven's Hill or Heaven Door 10th year decade series.
Absolutely.
So those are coming. So you can follow me on Instagram at Final Third Cigar.
You can find me on Instagram at the Whiskey Pastor.
Thanks for listening in, and we will see you next week. Cheers.
Hey, be sure to reach out to us.
Please
We're
do.
always there. Please do.
Yes.
See you soon. Cheers.